Hey, here with the Independence coach, John Lilly. John, you get back this week and get to play a state team again. You've been on, two Ohio teams the last couple opponents. You're 3-0 now. You got a Scott team, very interesting team. They kind of gave you everything you wanted last year. You were able to get out of there with the victory, 30-24.
Yeah, it's been a teachable moment for us this week. We keep bringing that up. They were 1-2 last year, and they ended up making quarterfinals. They're a team that's been to 3 straight quarterfinals, so they got a lot of kids that's played very well over that span. They got their quarterback back. They got some kids back that's been on those teams. And they got a good coaching staff. Coach Dolan and Coach Elkin been coaching against those guys for a very, very long time. They'll be ready and they'll be solid and they'll have their team ready to play.
Was it fun to play a couple out-of-state teams, guys you don't see, you probably may never see again? But I mean, it was your first trip out of state when Martins Ferry came in. It was your first time playing an out-of-state team. Was it interesting? I mean, you came out of it with victories in both, with one left against Barnesville, but you got 2 victories now. Yeah,
I think the kids found it interesting. We played in a great environment last week. It was kind of a college level environment with the facilities that they had and the way they do games and everything, and first class facilities. We're not used to that. We're not used to first class facilities, but the biggest thing is I think the kids were excited to do it, and that helped things a lot. I think they get more fired up to play our local schools, more schools that they can identify with. But I think it was a challenge for us. We knew that those schools were going to be traditionally well coached, and they're both going to win some ball games now, and so they'll give us a lot of points.
And in that respect, I think it was great. I wanted to talk about your defense. I went back and did a little bit of research. You have 19 shutouts during your tenure here. That's in just 80 games. And this year, giving up some points, but most of those points were given up to a Hoover team that hasn't lost since that opener, and that's going to be another big one down the road. What's your opinion? And you've coached some, like I said, 19 shutouts. That shows that you coached some really good defensive teams. Where do you think this team lies in that regard? Because they got their first shutout last week.
Yeah, well, they felt like we should have had a shutout against Warren Local because we had our JV in when they got scored on, and that's been the case for several games. We had a span there where we probably could have had 4 or 5 more shutouts. But this team's a veteran team. You got 9 guys out there that started at some point in time or somewhere. And, so you have expectation that they're going to do a certain job to a certain level. And so far they've responded really well. They've gone against 3 different styles of offense. They come out and play a spread style offense in the first game. Then they play a smash mouth eye team. And then, we played a little bit of spread option last week. So 3 different weeks, 3 different offenses, and they've responded very well. This week we'll play against a team that kind of does a little bit of everything. And those are hard teams to prepare for. But I'm really proud of them. They work really hard. I don't think people understand how hard they work. Sometimes we feel like maybe we overwork them, but they've done a lot of mental preparation.
Your linebackers are very good, and your stats they show that. Your D-backs, I think, have combined for 9 interceptions, 8 interceptions, maybe in 1 fumble recovery. Obviously, that was the touchdown that Isaac Redden had. But what about that defensive line? They have to be doing their job for those other units to be able to have the numbers that they're putting up.
Well, I think the biggest thing with is we're bigger. Last year we had some guys, and man, they were good guys, and they played as hard as you can play. But our defensive tackles were 220, and at times our nose guard was 180, and so we got pushed around a little bit. And this year, you're looking at our nose guard. It's Redden's about 6'4", 310. Carson's about 6'2", 320, and of course Alex is he's not. He's the strongest player we got on our team, but he's not the heaviest guy. But, so we got a big line. And, and we've got the other thing with that is we're kind of like we were in 22. We don't have to play just 3 guys. We got 6 guys that can play, and we'll rotate as much as we can and give each other breaks. And, they swallow their egos a little bit so we can do that and stay fresh. They understand what we're trying to do. So, but yeah, they're going to have to play because we're going to hit a stretch where we're playing against some pretty good wide receivers and quarterbacks. So, we're starting this week. I mean, Easterlings are returning quarterback off a quarterfinal team, with two really good outside wide receivers. Then we go down the line, with teams we got left on our schedule. So definitely don't have an easy schedule down the road.
And then on the other side of the ball, I think I'll always be, these guys are different blockers. What I mean is, I think I'll always, unless something really happens, think that 2022 line was probably the best high school line I've seen. And I've seen some good ones over the years. Just the way they dominated in the trenches. What are these guys? I mean, these guys are doing a lot more pass blocking than you did then, I think. And they do an exceptional job in it, but they're also, seems like they're really starting to get their chops up to this run blocking too. I mean, and it's showing what Silas has done the last couple of games.
Yeah, I think we started getting better last year, as the year went on. 3 of them were freshmen who started last year. Well, you got Shuck and Fitzpatrick, and we've got Levi, who's a sophomore. Got Carson Jones, who's a sophomore. Levi's a junior, I'm sorry. And really the only upperclassman we have on the offensive line is Alex Blankenship. And Alex was first team All-State his sophomore year. But, he's already joined the Marine Corps. He knows what he wants to do. I've never seen an offensive lineman that runs a mile before practice. And then when the scout team's out there, he runs another mile. And then if we're in between plays, he's doing burpees or he's doing planks or something. Unbelievable work ethic that he has. And then we got another guy that joined the Marine Corps too, our sniffer, Landon Burleson. So we got 2 Marines on our offensive
You
line.
have to love that.
Yeah, I mean, they have that mindset too. I mean, it's like you can't make me quit. That kind of thing. You can't make it too hard for me. I'll be all right. And that's the mindset that those 2 bring to the table. But that line has. The difference in our team is the maturation of our line. Now, are they perfect right now? No. All right, but are we getting better every week? Yeah. When you have a 200-yard rusher, you're doing something right. So they've gotten better. Each week, they get to pass out some donuts, and so they're real happy with that.
Return of the donut man.
Yeah, it's kind of our thing. Every school has their thing. So our linemen give donuts out when our running backs give donuts to the linemen.
Does that start with Judah?
Yeah, it started with Judah. Yeah.
You know who started that then?
Yeah, you had something to do with it. Yeah, it cost me about $100 over.
Just consider that my donation.
Right.
To the program.
But I mean, every school has something.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and that's kind of something that was brought up during that period when you really had. Did you see any kind of similarity? But like I said, they block differently. Obviously, you throw a lot more than you did when you had Judah and.
I think they're different. They're different type of line. The line in 22, they were just mean. They were big and mean. This group, not so mean, but getting better fundamentally. And I think they have a chance to be stronger.
More technique than those.
More technique, yeah. They're getting better with their technique, but believe it or not, we're bigger overall than we were in 22. I mean, Charles Aker has gotten better. That's been a young man who wants to get better. Carson Jones wants to get better. Fitzpatrick and Chuck right there. They're 4 sophomores starting off and on that line. And the anchor is Levi Phelan. So and then you got Alex kind of. With his work ethic is rubbing off on him. So, it's a good 6, 7, 8 rotation with those guys.
Is there, you're 30% through the season, the regular season, just about a third of the way through. Is there anything you've learned about this team that you're surprised about?
Well, I think the surprise is not so much surprise because I knew how hard they worked last year and I knew how hard they worked in the off season. But I think being able to adapt to things that we've had to go through this year. I think it's hard when you have to play teams in Ohio, and teams, and down the road. We still got another Ohio team. We don't get to play but a handful of teams in our area. you know, and kids like playing against their rivals. They like playing against their, you know, so they had to change their mindset and learn to be more technique minded, more business like, because, you know, we're not playing our two traditional rivals. We're not playing the guys that we've played in years past. And that's mentally tough on a kid. And I think they're handling it well.
Is there any chance you might start playing those teams again?
I think so. I think some of this stuff has worn off. You know, a lot of changes at the SSAC level, a lot of things with state laws and things, and yeah, I think it caused some ruffles in the feathers a little bit. But I think, you know, it's not with kids; it's with parents. Kids have been playing for whoever they want to play with for the last 10 years. You know that. But I do think we'll eventually be playing. You know, that's my hope anyway. Or we'll be playing, you know, more out-of-state teams. But honestly, I don't care. I don't think the kids care anymore. You know, we're over it. It's just we'll play whoever we got to play.
The real season doesn't start till the second week of November anyway.
Right,
So.
right. You know, the thing is, and what people don't understand is what we really hope is working in our favor is, say you go play, say you're us, a AA school, and you play a AAA team like Princeton. With the strength of schedule points, you'll get more points for losing to Princeton than you would be beating a local team that's 0-10. So, you know, you want to play up, you know, and because you get more points. It's like last year, I think we finished 6-3, and we had home field all the way, you know, till we got to the semis, you know, off of 6-3, because Bluefield went 4-6, and they got a home field, you know, because look who they played. They got so many points off people, and I think people forget about the strength of schedule stuff.
John, always appreciate it,
Thank you.
and good luck to you guys Friday night down at Scott.
Thank you.